Get ready, folks, because what comes next is filled with laughter and twists. He left his daughter standing there as he personally sent David off, because he heard the car at home was broken like my love life. Are you thinking of stealing it? Nah, just a passing thought. I promise tonight will be an absolute blast. You know what? I love starting over. David's endless flattery led him straight into a verbal shooting range with the father tough crowd. Despite Dad trying to play the tough guy, it only fueled the rebellious fire in his daughter. Sneaking around isn't sustainable, so today, with family out, Jed had David over to fix the car. He knew once the car was fixed, Dad's view would change in a flash. But it's a treasure from his brother. For years, Dad couldn't get over his brother's accident. Now, hearing the engine, the family rocketed out. What are you doing? Get away from the car. Stop. Stop. It's moving. It's a vintage car. It's banked up, but I think I found the chosen one. You might want to hear it run again. Mom's crying like a fountain, and even Dad, who's always grumpy, is speechless. Can you believe it? Subtitles. Wanna join us for dinner? Not an excuse. I need rest. You can shout here your only perk. I've got to change. The sneaking around has got to stop. No way, you little sneak. Subtitles, with wife, son, and daughter pleading. Even reluctant Dad shows David what a headache. After dinner, Dad opened up like a piggy bank, showering David with questions. From family backgrounds to career plans, even future ambitions, Dad learned that David is helping his father run their struggling repair. Meanwhile, Jed's dad's stone trip to Spain for the car shop gig. Hearing David planned to ditch school to help. That was a tough call. Dad's mood brightened a little, but not because David was about to become the shop's new guy. No, it was more about how his future. He initially planned for his daughter's medical career. Little did he guess they were set to part ways in just a month. At first, he worried David would chase after her, but learning David didn't plan on school, that gave him quite a relief. After easing up a bit, the youngsters were off on crazy dates. They hit the so-called bad boy bar Dad warned about and soaked up the fun. They splashed around the fountain and soaked in the wildness of youth. 3 weeks together made their bond grow stronger, and on their final night, Jed was resolute in his decision. David's plea made Jed even more determined to rebel against Dad's every decision. Dad assumed his daughter had been seduced, so he planned a beach trip as the perfect way to separate them, like chasing love-struck deer. Dad knew his daughter was lost in love, and resorting to this plan to cut ties was just plain desperate. However, deep in his heart, he also knew this method might not work, for the power of love is boundless. Dad recalled the promise he made before about letting them date, and wrestled with his anger before finally swallowing it down. Watching them together, all he thought was not gonna risk bringing them back home, or else it'd be a total brawl in there. Watching them have fun at the beach, Dad discussed with Mom whether their daughter was ditching school for David, while his heart ached. As a father, who doesn't want their daughter happy? Yet he felt helpless and opted to try to persuade David instead. So, Dad struck a deal with David, hoping he'd convince Jed to stay in medical school. Seeing a bright future, David happily agreed, and from that point on, no one stood in their way. What a win-win. But hold up, this carefree bliss didn't last more than 3 days. One night, while David was at the warehouse fetching something, he accidentally stumbled upon his future father-in-law having a little fun with a local lady. Through their conversation, Dad suspected David had caught onto their secret. Next day, Dad requested David to meet him in the middle of the lake for a serious chat. This was straight out of a movie. But imagine his surprise when he went straight to the point. Keep this quiet, don't tell anyone. If she finds out, I'm a dead man. Whether Dad contacts me today or not, for family harmony, he'll keep the secret. After all, who knows what's in people's minds? However, doubtful Dad found it hard to trust such promises, knowing the truth made David a constant threat. In a law-abiding society, murder is illegal. After deep thought, a plan emerged in his mind. What a clever move. He cut the vacation short, shelled out cash to hire schoolmates to throw a party, and invited them along. Then he led them to a ban-access abandoned zoo. Just when they were having a blast, he dialed the police on the sly to cover for his friends. David bravely drew the cops away. What a twist ending. Jed returned home, beating heart pounding, and told his parents David was arrested trying to protect him. What a dramatic turn. No, it was because you changed for David. This isn't a good thing. Shouldn't you go after him? His wife's words hit him right where it hurt. Pretending to be conflicted, he offered a deal to his daughter, had released David, and Jed had to behave and go to school. Faced with such absurd demands, Jed agreed instantly without hesitation. Promises don't break laws. Jed had to follow a plan. After bailing David out, he didn't rush away. Instead, he went on a rant about David's father. His words, laced with insults, angered David into turning away, prompting Dad to attack harder. What a family comedy.